when we say fall in love, matlab, pyar mein giro, you have to bow down with respect.
Yes,
That's what you're
absolutely.
trying to say.
I think
Uh,
you said it well. That's where the ego has to be dealt with.
Absolutely, that is true. And one question, another question was that, why is a guru important in today's life? And who is a guru? Is it a physical person, or is it your own knowledge? And how can we, lead into the path of self understanding that way?
Sure, that's another very good question you asked, because the presence of a guru
Hmm.
is so vital, I believe,
Hmm.
for a lot of people who are spiritual, especially. Uh,
Hmm. Yes. Hmm.
I've been told that if a person is very spiritual but doesn't have a guru, it's like a beautiful yacht without the sail.
Oh.
So
Hmm.
the yacht is fantastic. The yacht is
Hmm.
fantastic,
Yes.
but there's no sail to it. So if there's no sail, it'll be directionless.
Hmm.
So that's one. The second perspective I want to share here is he or she who dispels ignorance and brings wisdom is Guru. That's how in Sanskrit you do the Sandivik shape and stuff, right? You break it up. So Gu and Ru. Ru is darkness. Gu is the one who dispels the darkness or the ignorance.
Hmm.
And therefore, I believe it's very important for us to have a Guru, somebody who can guide us, somebody who can, if I can use a corporate word, mentor us spiritually.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
Otherwise, we will become
Hmm.
sort of pleasantly confused. I know of some people who, because they don't have a guru,
Hmm.
and unfortunately, they have this very subtle arrogance that I don't need a guru, because
Hmm.
they read a lot of books. They'll go on YouTube and learn some techniques of meditation. I've seen some of them actually going cuckoo.
Hmm.
They, because they're so confused. There's so much. They'll
True.
practice this meditation, that meditation, this breathing,
Hmm.
that breathing. Imagine the, the kind of confusion in the head, man. Imagine
Hmm.
you're cooking a dish and you're going to put different things because 10 people tell you different things.
Hmm.
Imagine the fate of that dish and the fate of the people who eat the dish.
Hmm.
So, and then the next question before because you did mention another important point. If my
Hmm.
memory serves me correct, you did mention about uh, what kind of a guru is important. Is the
Yeah.
guru, does he or she have to be a living guru,
Hmm.
or is it a human guru?
Yes.
That way. They say that the guru had
Hmm.
21 or 22 gurus, if not more.
Hmm.
Whoever you seek spiritual wisdom from, whoever you
Hmm.
seek spiritual guidance from, you can consider that entity to be a guru.
Okay.
But in that, you'll have, you could be blessed.
Hmm.
You could be blessed to encounter an entity who could be not just a guru that you just seek wisdom and then you're on your way, but
Hmm.
you could have a guru shishya relationship, a
Yes.
guru shishya connection, where the guru is with you.
Hmm.
I believe my guru has been with me, and I'm blessed with, along with a few others, I'm sure, that we've been connected from a life, not only from this life, right? Which is why that connection is so strong. So
Hmm.
that also is a guru. Then there are some entities, many actually, who have a guru and they're connected, but that guru has taken samadhi many years ago. I can mention one particular guru who I'm extremely, my guru is my guru, yes, but there's another entity who is a guru to a lot of people, but that entity took Mahasamadhi long time back, maybe in the 1980s or something. And he's known as Haida Khan Babaji. And there's a beautiful ashram in the north near Himachal or something. I've not been there, but I have a very close friend called Deepak Raghani, and he is a follower, intense follower of Haida Khan Babaji. They have, I think, once a week they have the artis, and they do it on Zoom. And
Hmm.
he's so passionate. But that guru has taken Mahasamadhi. But for them, the guru is still there in
Still
an
there.
energy form. So
Hmm.
that's my response to
Wow.
the question.
I know that's so wonderful. And it shows your intensity into the what you're doing and what you feel and how you're living. For people like us, I think we are from the lower realm, right?
Not
realm
at
of,
all.
but
Not at all. Not at all. I just want to say, it's please, one shouldn't think that way, because even the fact that we are engaged in this kind of a conversation itself is a testament to the fact that we are curious and we are exploring these
absolutely.
aspects of spirituality, which itself like I said, is a testament of our intense spiritual desire.
No, I do understand, and I'm hanging on to every word that you're saying. And I hope the listeners are also listening intently, because this is a conversation that doesn't happen every time, on this show. And one more thing which I want to touch was that you are a transformational coach, and you've helped so many multinational companies and team building and management. And we here in the Silicon Valley live in where there's a lot of diversity in workplace, so and it's the sector, it's a hub of the tech sector, and tech sector can really become extremely competitive, cold, and exclusive. So uh, when do you think, tell me about your team building techniques, and when and how do you think transformations happen in a uh, environment which is not so cohesive? uh,
Right. I'll begin my answer by saying that a lot of us who are in the corporate world,
mm,
and especially in the world which is fast paced,
mm-hmm.
ultra professional, I
Yes.
believe that a lot of us have been in one direction, which is attaining professional goals. Uh, and kudos to all of us who do that. Okay.
Mm, mm,
What also happens is when you come back home, you have
mm,
a wife if you're married, or
mm,
if you have a you have a husband, or if you're not married, you have a life. You are doing some stuff in US. You do your gardening on a weekend. You'll
mm.
have friends over. Monday to Friday is the rut. You go and you work.
Yes.
So then there's a lot of emphasis on your professional life, and
Mm,
then on your personal life. What is happening is I feel people are not realizing what is the real goal of their life. It's not
mm.
just the money, right? It's not just
Yes.
cooking at home. That's great. That's actually great. But what about your soul? What about you? Do you,
Mm,
the inner happiness that you feel
mm,
when you meditate,
mm,
when you do deep breathing, the calmness that you feel,
mm,
the kind of excitement, exuberance, childlike uh, enthusiasm that you feel is something that cannot happen only at work. I don't think so, because there's no time for all that. In your personal life, there's no time for that. You may be watching a movie and you're happy, but so I always look at it like this, Namrita. One is
uh, mm,
professional sphere,
mm,
personal
mm,
sphere. What I
mm,
think intersects, if you do a Venn diagram, the
mm.
common space, intersected space, is
Yeah.
the private sphere,
Mm,
and that is where I always feel that that's the sphere in which your your engagement with your own self through the practice of breathing, yoga, meditation will actually become the nutrition for your brain and for your body and for your soul to really feel the genuine happiness. Money is great.
mm.
I mean, I have a friend who bought a Mercedes car, but when he was driving, when one tire got punctured, his stress levels shot up because he was
Yeah.
like, how can this car have a puncture? And I said, it's for God's sake, dude, it's just a car. I mean, it's a great car, but it's a car, and it must have gone over a nail or something. But he was also money will buy you happiness, but it doesn't give you the real the calmness. Whereas on the other side, I've come across a person who maybe just riding a motorcycle, but if his tire gets punctured, he doesn't get all. He just calmly understands what is the next step to be done. Simple as that. So I feel that people who work in the Bay, the California and the San Francisco, or in the IT zones in India, uh, we need to also look at the private sphere, and what am I doing to make me feel genuinely calm, completely relaxed, in a state of heightened excitement in the mind. And in our team building workshops, the first thing I say is, have you bonded with your own self? Because team building is also about team bonding. You know,
Uh,
like
yes.
when we talk about management, when I do managerial skills, I
Mm,
simply put this question for them to introspect on is, I say, before you manage others, how are you managing your own self? I mean, there are people who at very high levels can give you talk on time management and punctuality, and they themselves have come 15 to 20 minutes late to give a talk on punctuality.
Uh,
And,
agree.
and, and you know what I'm saying is they are not managing themselves, and they're
Yes.
all excited to manage people. So when we talk of team building or we talk about leadership, it's firstly I like to focus and help them focus on themselves.
Yeah.
I have this beautiful thing. It's called a
Oh,
Tibetan ball.
yes. Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm,
And when I do my workshops, I use this as a metaphor to talk
mm,
about vibrations. So
mm,
when I talk about the private space, the space or sphere, I
mm,
always say create lovely vibrations. Either listen to music, or I suggest to them to get hold of this. So if you just listen to this, it is so blissful. For example, if I can play it,
mm, mm,
it's
mm.
and this is a podcast, so it's going to be, we're talking and suddenly
Yeah,
this
but
comes in. But if you're going to sit in your room and put some candles on, diyas, and
mm,
just play this and then keep your eyes closed for maybe a few seconds, oh,
mm,
it has a lovely effect. In fact, if I do this, just see what happens.
yeah.
Can you
Mm.
hear it?
Yes, so it's still going on.
Still going on.
Yeah.
I've had people telling me that even when I went home, I could feel the the sound in my head. It was just going on. Why am I bringing this, Namrita? Is because I believe that uh, we have a lot of time for work, for home, for friends, for podcasts.
Mm,
But what we're forgetting is the time that we need to spend with ourselves, for ourselves, and by ourselves, in which create good vibrations. What I do when I close my eyes is, of course, I do my mantra japa, but even before
mm,
that, as my guru has taught many of us, is chant something. So I chant something like this: Om Shiva Shaktya Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shakta Prabhavitum Nache Devam Devo Nakhalu Kushala Spanditumapi अतस्त्वामाराध्याम् हरिहरविरिञ्चादिभिरपि प्रणौतुं स्तोतुं वा कथमकृतपुण्यः प्रभवति. ॐ
mm,
शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. This is another vibration. So when I
lovely.
chant this, I'm automatically
Mm,
pulled in. And if I can be a great team member for myself with myself, I automatically will spread the same vibrations in my team, isn't it?
absolutely. What a lovely, lovely answer. And, we live in this world here, especially Silicon Valley, which is so perfect and so, everything happens in a jiffy. So we need to get out of that bubble and, start to look inwards. That's what my yoga
Hopefully,
said.
hopefully next year, if things go well.
I am so looking forward to having you, and not just me. I am sure this will be a wonderful, wonderful way of meeting you if you
See,
you know
what
if
I,
everything
what
goes.
I, Namrita, what I like about such initiatives that Shraddha is planning, and I'm
Yes,
sure you know of it,
yes.
is I like to be practical about everything here. I mean, I don't like things which are great to listen to at the outset, and then when
Ah,
you go back home, you're just like, okay, now let's go back to our day-to-day rituals or our activities. So when we do these retreats, or what I plan to do in the US as well,
mm,
is not just talk, talk, talk. I'm going to involve them in the practice of, say, Om. That's one. Or I call them the buzz of the bees. And how it
mm.
impacts your blood pressure.
Okay. Mhm.
Yeah. So when participation happens, that's when
Mm.
people will take something back and start practicing it. So that's what I'm looking forward to, Namrita.
Absolutely. We all are also looking forward to and hope to see you soon. Uh, I don't want to let you go that the time is running out. Just last quick question will be that the biggest weakness of human being and the biggest strength of a human. Just like
Sure. The biggest we a weakness that is really something that is big, um, is falling victim to ego, because it's what caused Ravana's death.
Yes, he was such a
It is
learned
what,
man.
yeah, he was
Most
arguably the most
mm,
ardent devotee of Shiva,
Shiva.
but his ego came in the way, right?
Mm,
That's one.
and,
Brothers don't talk to each other. The ego, that I won't speak, let him come and talk to me.
mm,
In organizations, the
mm,
boss looks at his junior who's doing extremely well. Ego, how can he do better than me? So when one falls prey to that kind of ego generally is good. Huh? There's something called ego of self-respect. I mean, that's what I learned from my guru. Is it's not like you should not have an ego. You should have the ego of
yes,
respect.
healthy.
Respect. You don't have to be weak, but you can have respect. But if you start thinking of you being great but others aren't, then
Mm,
that's probably is the beginning of the downfall. That's the biggest weakness according to me.
mm,
uh, the biggest strength, for example, for me is realization of the role of spirituality and understanding of it, um, in a practical way, to
mm,
help us lead a more fruitful life.
mm.
Like
Wonderful.
when a person becomes more spiritual in a practical way, I've
Huh.
seen that they become nice people. They won't hurt others, because
Mm,
spirituality itself makes you, if you are going to be rude to somebody, and if you are, you'll scold yourself. You'll probably go and keep your ego aside and say, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to. For me,
mm.
that's the biggest strength.
I,
Money and all that comes later on. How
mm.
you become a leader, I mean, that's cool, but this for me is the greatest strength.
I understand. Thank you for the answer. And like you're saying, I think spirituality leads to self-awareness. So when we are more aware, we know where
Absolutely.
we are, and the clarity comes. I think so. Thank you so much, Mayur, for this session. It was such a wonderful, wonderful morning, and I'll be in touch with you even later
Definitely.
and I hope our listeners got something out of this conversation. I was just listening to this ghazal, yesterday, and there was a share in this that said that सलीका नहीं शायद उसे महसूस करने का सलीका ही नहीं शायद उसे महसूस करने का जो कहता है खुदा है तो नजर आना जरूरी है. So you don't have to have a physics, but yeah, it is all about going inwards, I'll say. So thank you,
Absolutely.
Mayur. Have a
It was
good
a
day.
pleasure. Namrita, it was a pleasure. My respects to you and to all the viewers who are watching. And I hope that we will have another session, because I love the way you positioned and articulated and in fact created the questions. The quality of your questions was so pertinent to the subject, and therefore I thank you very much. I would only say Har Har Mahadev.
Har Har Mahadev. I'm going to be hounding you for another one whenever I, have questions in my mind, and there's so much of wisdom that you can.
What I look forward is when I'm there in the US next year, we should have a real time in-person podcast, a real
Yes,
mola,
that is the
a real
best, the
interaction
physical.
with
Yeah.
with people coming in. That'll be
Oh,
interesting.
that's for Shraddha to decide. But yes,
I
thank
know.
you. Thank you.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much. It was a pleasure, Namrita. Bye
Yeah.
bye. See you.
Bye.
Shosha is a creative Indian restaurant located in the heart of Silicon Valley. Shosha is a woman-owned business that serves traditional Indian flavors assimilated with molecular gastronomy techniques. The best Indian bar with happy hours in the Bay Area serves handcrafted drinks inspired by flavors from India with modern craft cocktails that are presented in unique ways. Shosha is a modern take on traditional Indian cuisine. We specialize in corporate luncheon, anniversary celebrations, birthday parties, and catering. Do check us out for a memorable modern Indian dining experience. Shosha is located at 141 South Murphy Avenue in Sunnyvale, California.